Hello and welcome to another Practice Profit Report. I'm so excited today to be talking to you about something that I hold near and dear to my heart. As a matter of fact, I would say that my breakthrough with this very specific concept is one of the most significant ones I've ever had. When I understood that time isn't something that happens to you, you happen to it. When time isn't managed, but it's leveraged, okay, it's utilized. Okay, when I realized that the greatest asset in all the world, that's the only one that you can't make more of, obviously, human relationships. Okay, after death, you have nothing else. But that's why actually time is more important than anything, because you can't make more of it. And everybody knows this. But it's a simple fact. If you take the value of 2026 and you combine it with this saying right there, okay, how will the value of 2026 be greater than any other year in your entire life? The first part is you have to understand what value is. Now, I like to think of value of health, value of, relationships, quality of life, value of money. Okay, money is like gas in a tank. But time is ultimately the compartment of which things go into. So today, I want you to be reminded by not Maslow's hierarchy of needs, although they're one and the same. I might say they're one and the same. But I wanted you to be reminded by the value of time in your life. And this pyramid of what you do, okay, with time completely correlates to the percentage multipliers. So we have the bottom 80%, okay? We have the middle hierarchy, with the bottom of the top, the middle 15%, and then we have the 4% and the 1%. This makes up 20. 20% here, 80% down here. How you disseminate between these things in your life is what will result in your output. Input here, output here. Quality of input, value of output. Okay? So I want to tell you that there are three aspects to how you increase the leverage of what you get out of your time. Now, for right now, I'm talking specifically as your practice for your business. So the first is that you got to have enough demand. If you got more people than you got time for people, okay, then you can have discernment over who you let in and what you do for those people. So this is increasing, right, demand. It's very important to the overall value of all aspects of your life. If you increase the demand of you, therefore you become more valuable, and therefore you can make different decisions with your time. Next is you got to increase your influence. And your influence really is conversion. You got to be able to influence people so that more people want you. Demand and conversion, go one and the same. If you get more interest, you get greater conversion. You're working through each stage of the pipeline. In dentistry, we're talking about patients coming into your practice. We're talking about your ability to convert those people. Okay? And then ultimately, the price. If you're going to make all this worth more, then you've got to play with price. Now, we play with price in dentistry by bundling more stuff together. We play with price in dentistry by just raising fees. We pay with price in dentistry by financing strategies and how we let money move through this. Now, in my 4 pillars, or principles of dentistry, we have diagnosis, case acceptance, prepay, or the flow of money, and then we have schedule control. This is capacity, schedule control. So capacity and supply are the schedule. So diagnosis, case acceptance, prepay, schedule control. But in a business, in the bigger scheme of your practice in your life, you need more demand, you need greater conversion, you need to maximize the value, and you got to control how they flow in and out of the time you have. And so this is now deciding, how do you want all this? What compartments of time do you want these things to fit into this? And then you take your team and you work on every stage of the life cycle. So, here's the thing. The bottom value of your life is production. And this is where everybody wants to go to work. They want to go to work on how can I produce more? How can I improve production? Or how can I make my schedule more productive? Okay? But this is actually the bottom 80%. This is the lowest common denominator, okay, of what you do. The next aspect above that is what I call creation. This is the diagnosis. Now, this is the majority of your working life. Creation and production. And all of these two things are going to be made more valuable by the 4 pillars. If you want to increase the production, you have to increase the creation. But less time on the creation in order to support it with production. But this is the next greatest amount of your time is in creation. Diagnosis, patient education, whether that's checks or consults or follow-ups or webinars or lunch and learns or new patient conference exams or ABCs or whatever. Okay? So you can grow production by different modalities, procedures, providers, and other things, but you can't grow it without creation. Now, creation is only made better and bigger and more important if you're working on the business as a whole. We've all heard the expression work on the business versus in the business. This is working in the business. Consider these two things patient-facing, okay? Then you consider this as team, okay? This is entrepreneur. This is all the things related to the practice itself. So this is a smaller amount of time, but this makes this more valuable. You're not going to make this more valuable from bottom up. That's the volume approach. Okay, remember, we want to mitigate and minimize volume and maximize the value output. And this is the hierarchy. So the time in which you put it in the business, you have to make sure this is your development, this is your team development, this is your systems, your patients. If you're going to create more, you got to grow here the opportunities within the business. Now, all of this is the business. The next one, right, which is ultimately life, the life business. Now, this may be money, relationships. This is all the things that fit into the bigger scope of your life. Hobbies, faith, everything. So you're going to have less time invested here, very strategically, but it's worth more. It's worth more. And the reason why it's above all this is because these things should support the life business. And the quality of the life business drives motivation down into the rest of it. The only way not to resent this is to be in alignment with this. That's more value out of 2026 than any other year in your entire life. And then lastly, of course, we have the you business. We have you. This is your mindset. Okay? This is your health. Okay? This is all the aspects of what I call life athlete, which we're going to talk about next. Okay? In our next practice, profit report. But this is the hierarchy, okay, of your life. And down here, you got your sleeping, you got your eating, you got your other stuff, you got your sustenance here. But it's really how you manage the value pyramid of time. Okay? The value pyramid of time. And all of that is how you will get the greatest return. You are the ultimate 1% leverage factor. The better, greater you are, the greater all this will be. Your life, alignment and harmony of life will make all of this better, and most of all without resentment. And then the leverage point of the business growth with the creation allows you to maximize your production. So you have the 4 pillars, okay, of the modalities that build the base of this. But you want to make sure that your time is intentionally invested. Less, okay, to more, but greater leverage to less. This, my friend, this is what it's all about. Now, I've given you a lot of great things on the year ahead. I've given you a lot of great things on setting your dreams, your goals, your vision, your aspirations. But at the end of the day, all success and getting more value out of this year than any other year in your life is all going to come from not more time, because you're not going to make that. Okay, same time, greater value. is understanding how you battle plan out, you discipline and regiment and systemize, and you habitualize all of the aspects of here. Production is the bottom. Creation means greater production. Building a better practice, team, doctor, patient, means greater creation and production. Ultimately, life in alignment and harmony equals all the other things. And then, most of all, you. That is a manifesto. Not just for success, but as the great Zig said, for significance. And more importantly, is how to take the same amount of time, years and days, hours and weeks, okay, months and quarters, and have a much more fulfilling, fun, okay, and prosperous year in every way. Can't wait to see what you do with it. Map that baby out. Send it to me. I will always be your champion and support, okay, for making yourself, okay, the priority, the hierarchy, the 1%, okay, of all other aspects of your life and what you're doing.